Nowadays, you'll still see the rare person call Ubuntu spyware. In its current state in the latest version, it doesn't really make any sense as a claim. However, there was a time where this did hold a little bit of water. This was around the time when people first started to notice telemetry in Windows. It was still a few years before Windows 10 when it all blew up to the mainstream. It was still a very humble time for data privacy. This was 10 years ago with the release of Ubuntu 12.10, when Canonical introduced two features that I have no idea how anybody ever approved or how they stuck around for so long. These features tend to get lumped together, but they are two distinct features: the Amazon Shopping web app and the Amazon Shopping lens, the latter of which was the much more serious problem. So Unity, like most desktops out there, whether we're talking about a Linux desktop environment, but even Windows and macOS, had a unified search feature. On Unity, this was called the Unity Dash. This would allow you to search for files, folders, applications, basically anything on your system. A really useful feature. But Canonical had a great idea. What if, when you search in the Unity Dash, it also shows you Amazon search results? This was the Amazon Shopping lens. Now, here's where the spyware comes in. By default, it was enabled on every Ubuntu system. It could be disabled, but it was opt-out. And how do you think you get Amazon search results based on what you're typing in your dash? Well, you have to send everything you type in your dash to the Amazon servers. Now, to be fair, there were a lot of users out there who either didn't care about it or actually did like the feature and found it to be a really nice addition. However, many others were either really confused or really angry why you would ever add something like this to a Linux distro. And this wasn't helped by the fact that the CEO, Mark Shuttleworth, gave possibly one of the worst defenses I have ever seen, putting out this incredibly condescending blog post titled Amazon Search Results in Dash, before getting into answering the questions, calling the questions just straight up FUD. Why are you putting ads in Ubuntu? We're not putting ads in Ubuntu. We're integrating online scope results into the home lens of the dash. This is to enable you to hit super and then ask for anything you like. And over time, with all the fantastic search scopes that people are creating, we should be able to give you the right answer. Now, that would be fair if it was separate from the searching in your dash. If it was you go to the Amazon shopping app and you search for things on Amazon, yes, it's going to show you what you expect to see. But when you're making a completely unrelated search looking for a file on your system, if it's showing you products from Amazon, I think it's fair to call that an ad. But he disagrees. These are not ads because they are not paid placement. Now, I don't believe that an ad needs to be paid for. I'm pretty sure that's not part of the definition. If I volunteer to hand out flyers to an event, I am not being paid. Am I not advertising the event? Of course I'm advertising it. Everyone would say so. The query should be encrypted. It will be in the release version. When they first unveiled this, the query being sent to Amazon, that was encrypted, but the images you got back to populate your dash, those weren't. So you could basically just reverse engineer the search based on the images that are being received. I want to control this in the settings. Yes, we agree. And designs and work are underway to make that possible. That should land in 12.10.2, or as an update, or in 13.04. They introduced this feature to a Linux distro, a place where people really care about their privacy, without a toggle to turn it off. Why? Why did you introduce the feature altogether without that also being ready? Now for the best of the worst response. Why are you telling Amazon what I am searching for? We are not telling Amazon what you are searching for. Now, focus on the you, because this is a straight up lie, unless you read it like a politician. Your anonymity is preserved because we handle the query on your behalf. Technically, they're not telling Amazon what you are searching for. They're telling Amazon the search query that you happen to make. Don't trust us? We have root. You do trust us with your data already. You trust us not to screw up on your machine with every update. You trust Debian, and you trust a large swath of the open source community, and most importantly, you trust us to address it when being human. Which is certainly a way to end a sentence. And he's not wrong that you do trust Debian, you do trust Ubuntu, you do trust a lot of the open source space. But the fun thing about trust is not guaranteed, and trust can be lost. Now, the data privacy aspect was the main thing that people were focusing on, but there was another part of this that didn't get anywhere near as much attention, but I would argue is probably just as, or even funnier. So, this was blindly returning Amazon search results. So what do you think will happen if you typed pen, you type dungeon, you type the first part of analysis, or various other words that might have a sexual connotation? Well, that's fairly simple. It just returned not safe for work results. Just right there on your computer, and it was enabled by default. But what makes it even better is the devs were fully aware of the problem prior to the release of 12.10 and went ahead with it anyway. And also marked it as won't fix when the bug got reported. This led to a giant bug report with a lot of people commenting saying, "What do you mean you won't fix it? This is a serious problem. It is enabled by default." Now, the reason why they won't fix it is kind of hilarious. Given that filtering the kind of content is essentially impossible and that you'll be able to disable the whole thing from system settings, I'm closing this as won't fix. Now, it's very clearly not essentially impossible because when you search for something on the Amazon website, it doesn't show you not safe for work results. If it's a problem with the Amazon API, that is a problem that should be taken upstream with Amazon to make sure their filtering works correctly. Being able to disable the search altogether is not a good enough reason. But there's another fun problem. There is a very good reason why adult websites get you to verify that you're an adult. Usually it's like a nonsense verification, just, put in your age. But that still needs to be there. That's like a legal requirement. You can't just be showing adult products to minors without any age verification. So basically Ubuntu is setting itself up to be an 18 plus distro. Now, even though it was marked as won't fix, likely due to the mass outrage, they did fix the not safe for work issues. Also, by February, they did add a switch to disable the Amazon search results, but it was still enabled by default. Now, this wasn't just some little thing where Ubuntu users were angry about Ubuntu. This got the attention of, firstly, the EFF, the Electronic Frontier Foundation, Privacy in Ubuntu 12.10, Amazon ads, and data leaks. Now, this is a fairly tame title for what they ask for at the end. Disable include online search results by default. Explain in detail what you do with search queries and IP addresses. Make the search results tab of the privacy settings, let users toggle on and off specific online search results, and make sure that you respect your users' privacy and security. But not only the EFF responded, so did Richard Stallman. Ubuntu Spyware, what to do. This is a big part of the reason people started to use the term spyware with Ubuntu. This makes the same general argument as the EFF's article, and even references the EFF down the bottom here. But this one actually did get a response from a member of Canonical, specifically Jono Bacon. Jono Bacon at the time was Canonical's community manager, and while not speaking officially for Ubuntu, he said, "This is FUD." And the second someone says this is FUD, just assume that anything they're saying going forward is probably going to be copium. He says this is FUD because RMS is not presenting an accurate set of facts. The goal of the Dash, Ubuntu's core search interface in Ubuntu, has always been to provide a central place in which you can search and find things that are interesting and relevant to you. It is designed to be at the center of your computing experience. Now this is a big goal, and we are only part way along to achieving it. Part of that goal is how to handle privacy, Bacon continued. Naturally, privacy is critically important to us in doing this work. In the 8-year history of Ubuntu and Canonical, we have always put privacy forward as a high priority across the many different websites, services, and software that forms the Ubuntu platform and community. The challenge, of course, is that privacy is a deeply personal thing, and the way in which you define your privacy expectations will radically differ from each of your friends and vice versa. While it's certainly true that different people care about privacy to different levels, you shouldn't be sending every single search result to Amazon as a default. That is a baseline of don't do that. Now it gets even more fun. There was a blogger that made the claim this new feature violated European law, specifically European Directive 95/46/EC, the European Data Protection Directive. A petition was made and delivered to Canonical, demanding its removal. This led to absolutely no reply. As you would typically expect, petitions don't usually do much. So following this, in 2013, an official complaint was made to the UK's Information Commissioner's Office because Canonical is based in the UK. And 1 year later, it didn't exactly go the way that people wanted. The UK data protection body, that being the ICO, the one I just mentioned, ruled in favor of Ubuntu. And when that ruling happened, it became effective in all of the European Union. So legally, Canonical was in the right and could go ahead and do this. This meant the feature stayed enabled by default until 16.04 LTS. Now, separate from the Amazon shopping lens was the Amazon shopping web app. This was just a little icon in your bar that you could click, and then it would open up Amazon and let you go directly to the website. This one stuck around for a little bit longer. No one really cared about it, but this got removed in 20.04. Now, while the lens and the web app were completely distinct features that just happened to get introduced at the same time, they are kind of synonymous in many people's minds, and a lot of people didn't think the problem went away until the web app finally got removed. Maybe the spyware claims were a little bit hyperbolic, but a feature like this should have never been enabled by default. If you want to have it available there, go ahead. But a lot of people on Linux generally care a lot more about their security, a lot more about their privacy, and having everything you search for automatically being sent to Amazon doesn't exactly give you a good feeling. And there are other distros out there. There are distros based on Ubuntu that didn't include this that you could have just gone and used instead. And a lot of people did go and do that. So let me know, are you a long-time Ubuntu user? Did you know about this feature? Maybe you didn't use Ubuntu, you just have liked to mock it for, 10 or so years. I would love to know. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you liked the video, go and like the video. And if you really like the video and you want to become one of these amazing people over here, go check out my Patreon, subscribe, Stanley Bearer Pay, linked down below. That's going to be it for me, and I'm out.